Hi everyone, welcome back, or welcome for the first time. My name is Seven, and I would like to do a reading for September, a general reading, and I want to focus this one on the power of the upcoming eclipses. And I know there are several astrological events. There's a whole lot happening this month. It's a big turning point for the world in a lot of ways. And I'll go into my thoughts on that matter in another video. And for this one, I'm just going to see if I can gain any other insights about what's going on. Without any predetermined train of thought. So these two eclipses, why I'm focusing on them is they have this connection to the previous eclipses in March and April, solar and lunar eclipse coming close together, and some of the ones leading up to that time for the past couple years. It's just been a very intense couple years in so many ways, but it's really been the end of an era and the beginning of a new one. So let's see what we have here. I feel like the Earth has gone through a release, a big release, and a big rebirthing process. And how this is playing out in people's individual lives could vary quite a bit, but I'm kind of trying to focus on the overall because the whole picture is being reshuffled and rearranged, the whole entire scope of this world of humanity. And it's been difficult to kind of see into the future because there's so many factors up in the air, and I think the plans are finally kind of set in stone at this point, or at least somewhat concrete. So let's see. We ready? We ready? So, interesting. A lot of repeat cards from some of the tarot readings for this month. A lot of repeat cards. And the primary energies seem to be earth and fiery in their basis. The first card popping up here is the Four of Wands. And yeah, this has come up quite a few times for different people. I see this as a card about, it can be about a marriage or happy home. I often get it for get-togethers, parties, community building kind of activities, and for a rearranging of people's tribes. I think people at this time, probably ongoing for a few years, are really finding their place within a new group and kind of establishing and building certain projects from the ground up, One word that comes up for me with this card is grassroots movements. And I guess that's because it's kind of like a community building, social activism kind of thing. And this could be, these are people you see eye to eye with, and it could be on, you know, millions of different topics, millions of different things, but you really have this complementary energy where you're creating a nice home base and a nice community, sustainable community, um, happy home life, happy families, happy groups of friends, groups of people that act kind of like families, that have different elements that complement each other and are able to combine to take some of your ideas and passions and thoughts to that next step and that next level. So there's a lot of that going on. And this card does come up with marriage quite often. I don't see it so much as a marriage card in my readings, but yeah, it can have to do with like blessed unions between people. So a lot of you might be meeting a special someone or have already recently met your special someone. And a lot of bonds will be formed and forged that will help to nurture each other and push each other forwards. And in a healthy way, healthy relationships, not like codependence or anything like that. But I see it almost more having to do with community and close relationships, whether they be love or friendships or family, just those partnerships that are meant to be and group dynamics that are meant to be coming forward. Along with that, we have the Ten of Pentacles. And this card is about ancestral inheritance, physical and spiritual abundance, having everything you need and more, enough to pass on to your children or on to the needy. And so I guess for the worlds, there's a few pentacles here coming up, so I'll just put them all together. This Ten of Pentacles is right next to the King of Pentacles and the Princess. So these are some high money cards and high material abundance cards. So it would seem that there is quite a bit of material abundance coming to the world, or like redistribution of wealth to either along family lines or among communities, maybe a rise in certain economies, or this could also be in a spiritual sense, inheritance of in family groups of ideals and values, as well as material wealth that's being passed on. And the Pentacles are a very stabilizing suit and a stabilizing force. So coming up with the King here, I want to look at this in a positive sense, but for a lot of us, we've been, living through centuries of patriarchy, and I kind of see this guy, I see him as a positive figure here, but as far as wealth being generated and funneled to certain very wealthy and powerful male figures, it's kind of been a theme throughout the years, throughout generations, throughout decades and centuries in our cultures. And that wealth does seem to be passed down in family lines. So coming up here, it's kind of odd. I was kind of expecting a dissolution of the patriarchy is kind of like a sign of our times. So this dissolution process might be happening, but it doesn't really seem like it's in an anarchic kind of way, or in a takeover of some kinds. Um, there might be some great leaders coming into power that either male or female who are just rising to a place where they're redistributing wealth to the middle class, to families, and really helping people get to a good level of stability and financial abundance and physical abundance, just having all of their needs taken care of and then some. So, that could be just financially a redistribution of wealth. I think that's a big part of what's going on or starting to take place. And those power structures, I guess, are going to be a big theme. The power structures that hold wealth in place. Hmm. Yeah, so I'll go back and forth between my thoughts for that. The next card we have coming up is the Ace of Wands. And what the Ace of Wands is about is a new idea, a new beginning, a new passion, a new drive. It's like a new spark of creativity. So, if this is affecting the entire world, it's like there is a new hope for the future. There's a lot of new dreams coming forward, and it's such a fresh energy. This is fresh and new and fiery. And fire equals movement and change. So this is a very powerful card of changes to come. And it's also, the aces are young people, a new generation, a new group of people who are thinking from a fresh perspective that's really quite contrasted with this kind of older figure who has accumulated a lot of power and things and wealth. And there might be some kind of power struggle going on between these two. And I think it's very important that we focus on having the right people come into these positions, that they are able, willing, and able to distribute wealth and power and earthly, just material goods and necessities to all the people so that they can take that wand and run with it and make some important changes. A lot of changes from the ground up. And that could have a lot to do with this Four of Wands here. New ideas blossoming within community, and communication with a lot of family-like people based on love and values and things that are healthy for everyone, things that are healthy for the whole community, whether that is a family, a small community, or the entire world community. All of those things are being restructured, reorganized. And so, yeah, this can be a very powerful card of revolution. I mean, we are talking about the eclipses, right? Fiery energy of this card is very solar. There could be just some big revolution starting. uprising. This is a very Aries-like energy too. So I believe don't quote me on this at all, but the solar eclipse is in Aries? Maybe the lunar eclipse is in Aries. So that's a very powerful card of revolution. And, finalizing this reading, we have the Princess of Pentacles. And what she represents really is a part of this Virgo energy, is a young female character. And I often see this card as representative of Gaia herself, mostly because she's an earth sign female and has really this youthful nature. It's very connected with nature in general, with plants and animals and sensitivity and um, groundedness, life itself, like all the functions that make life work are kind of, they're not simple, but kind of like simplified and streamlined. Clean living, clean processes, green living, green movements, and a return to Gaia, a return to the earth, a return to nature. And I think this is a very important part of what's going on right now. So it could be that people who are in tune with the messages that she has to give and the gifts that she has to give are going to be the ones who are really leading this revolution, who are really gathering together and forming this uprising to take back what is rightfully theirs, take back their power as rightful heirs of this world and as rightful guardians of this world, protectors of the natural worlds, natural resources, and all of that. So this is really very Virgo-like to me. It has to do with cleaning and healing and, alternative health therapies, herbal practices. And it's giving me some contrast with this concentrated wealth. This is like kingdoms right here. This is the queendom, young and just blossoming. So this might not be like an immediate takeover or an immediate shift. It might be kind of a slow process, but these energies to me are appearing as strong as they are and as possibly helpful as they are. They can be very stagnant. This family here, this card can often represent like boredom, like having all this wealth and not really using it too well, not really considering the less fortunate, or just passing on your money and possessions to your kids and leaving it at that. This guy can just be building his business, worried about business, practical matters, and hoarding money potentially. So these are kind of very stagnant energies, and in contrast with these other two, which kind of represents uprisings through nature, brilliant new ideas. There's a lot of movement and a lot of practicality as well. So the Princess of Pentacles is very practical in a lot of ways, but also innocent and sensitive, a little bit more so than the king probably. She would be like the water, the earth element of the water element. So it's very tied to, earth element of the earth element. This is super earthy and feminine, just like Gaia. So the true earth, the true pentacles, true wealth that is connected to spiritual wealth. and a flow of spiritual wealth that is not hoarded and not kept. It's given as gifts. So it can be like spontaneous gift giving. And I think that's a big part of this community building type stuff here. It's just um, groups of people who are able to help each other just by offering little gifts of whatever is needed here and there. And that's enough to get them by. That's enough to get them powerful as well. Like they don't need all of this money and all of this support to complete their goals. They have the support of each other and just enough to make some of their dreams a reality. And they're more connected with spirit. So, yeah, let's see. And as a final overview card, I have the Lovers. The Lovers. It's a beautiful card, and it can have to do with love. It can also have to do with love-like relationships or even twin-like relationships. Kind of like it's more associated with Gemini or even Libra. There's a lot of twin flame kind of energies, balance energies, and again, like important relationships. So these could be very strong and powerful love relationships that are propelling you each to your highest self and your highest power and the good of all. And they can also be relationships as far as friendships or other types of soulmates. People who just complete each other's thoughts and sentences, and are really kind of fated to be on the same path. And just by having that closeness and intimacy kind of drive each other on to greater heights, just by their presence, just by their heart connection. It's a very powerful card. And for these two eclipses, one of them is on the Aries Libra line, I believe. There's a lot of stuff going on in Libra at 0 to 1 degrees Libra this month as well. We have the North Node conjunct Black Moon Lilith conjunct the Super Galactic Center at like 1-ish degrees Libra. And that energy being right on the half point of the zodiac is very much kind of a splitting and a combining, if that makes sense. And Libra has to do with relationships, with that easy give and take. That is just that flow of love that's like a perfect give and take. It just happens naturally and harmoniously. It's not forced. Like, I just see that energy contrasted with these two where, they have stuff, but that stuff doesn't really move anywhere. It's very stuck, it's very stagnant. And I think the key to kind of breaking up some of these stagnant energies, if not even in the material world, in the spiritual realm that filters down to the material, will be through love relationships and soulmate connections and just important fated relationships of whatever kind. And another thing about the Lovers, if it's at a higher spiritual level, there's no expectation. There's no, there shouldn't be any codependence. There shouldn't be any attachments involved. Um, if it's coming out in a pure kind of fashion, this card can sometimes include messages of an outside party interfering, like a third party, some kind of love triangle thing, or just blessings from the divine, like fated unions. I'm seeing it more coming through as that kind of energy. So these are kind of fated unions. They're important for each of your individual growth, and they can be lifelong. They can be more than lifelong. just make sure that whoever you're bonding with is in tune with this higher nature and isn't putting a whole lot of expectations and stuff like that on you. Or are you on them? More about this like twin flame type of energy. I'm not sure what I think about twin flames, honestly, but there is kind of this soul connection that happens with some people going through a love connection or a lover's like connection where they kind of do become one. And it's like a blending of opposites, blending of opposite energies. So it can really be a time of moving some old hurts and blocks through the power of love. So a lot of you out there might already be in a relationship like this and it's being taken to another level, or it's just really like getting down deep and clearing out some of your, whatever issues you're working with. Everyone has issues, I guess you could say. But this card seems to like fast track people either to dealing with those issues and failing at them, or dealing with them and clearing them really quickly and easily and effectively. Where, instead of having to do like years and years of self work, suddenly you see your mirror, you see your reflection in this person, they see their reflection in you, and you see your higher power, you see your souls in each other. And having that kind of mirror like relationship really helps to propel you to a new phase. So I guess a lot of that will be going on. We'll see. Please let me know if this rings true for you in the near future or already is. Anything else? Who knows? Maybe that I've been comparing the central card with the overview card. Maybe this will kind of be a missing key that some of these, I'm just seeing these leaders of the patriarchy have been missing. Maybe they'll actually discover how one-sided they've been and start to change their ways, some of them. I can't say that for sure because I don't know, and I don't know if I have faith in a lot of it based on their track record, But who knows? Maybe in seeing this sort of energy in the world, seeing the power of love, literally, will kind of remind some of these people who have been stagnant in their clinging to material wealth and clinging to the material world, realizing that there's something missing and just freeing up that energy to flow, freeing up some of those blocks in society that say, what you need to get by is to accumulate enough to survive, and then more and more and more and more. And maybe this will help to induce more of that flow. That's like when we're all of one heart nature. The flow is immediate and natural. There's no, hey, can I have this? I don't know. That makes sense. Like the give and take of energy is so natural. It's almost like one heart. So yeah. So hopefully that's helpful for you guys, and we'll see. We'll have to see what becomes of all of this. Let me know your thoughts, any questions or comments, and I hope you have a lovely September. Peace, blessings.